Hey you guys, what's up? We're kicking it again, and I got an incredible guest, someone who's, I just call him an artist because he's a rapper, he's a writer, he's an entrepreneur, he edits, he writes, you name it, he does it. And I'm gonna get him to talk a little bit about all of these different things. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jon Henry. What's up, Jon Henry?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, young man?
You got it, man. I'm so glad you came out and kicked it with me. Man, I'm just so inspired by your talent and all the things that you've done. I've seen some of your music. We even have a mutual friend who's an incredible musician.
Right, Ian.
I had Ian. Ian actually came by and talked with me, so.
I think you told me that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that's a good friend, and it's a pleasure to be here, man.
Oh.
I am a big fan of all the creative people that I've met through Ian.
Yes.
And a lot of these opportunities that I don't know that someone could be more appreciative than I am. You know, this is awesome to me. So thanks for having me and just to chat with you for a second.
Of course, man. Now, see, I know a lot about you because I've seen your music, I've heard your music, I've seen some of your videos, some really creative videos. But before we even go into all of that, I just want to know, where are you from? We want to know a little bit about you. Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I went to school in Madison, Wisconsin. I went to UW-Madison. I studied marketing, actually. And at some point, I discovered that my heart was really in the entertainment field. So because of that love, I moved from Wisconsin a few years ago. I came out here to actually Santa Ana, California at first. I was crashing on people's floors and things like that. And I moved to East LA. I was in East LA for a while, and now I'm in Los Angeles.
I love it. I love it.
All the way from the Midwest, all the way from Wisconsin.
Now, I mean, because leaving home, now some people, you know, they get a little afraid when you're stepping out the nest to pursue something that's on your heart. Let me just ask you this. Was it at an early age you discovered that you like performing?
Yes, it definitely was. It wasn't always music, but it was always entertainment. I used to be a class clown type, and I think there was some point early on where I discovered that people liked it when I was the class clown. When I was joking around, I had an ability to just have a crowd and entertain it in various ways. I feel like I can make you laugh, I can make you cry, I can make you angry. I feel like I've always been a good public speaker, so there was always something, even as early as like 6 years old, where I felt that I could grab a crowd in my hand and kind of move them. So I was always kind of performing, doing skits, little comedy skits in class, doing public speaking. I used to host open mics and tell jokes and read poetry. And so somewhere in there I discovered hip hop specifically, and that overwhelmed all of the other things that I found inside of me. Even as a little kid, that became the number one thing that kind of grabbed me, and I gravitated to it. It's just
that's
songwriting.
awesome, man. So let me ask you this, because I want to stay down there in school, elementary school. Do you remember some incident that you did something and the kids were, your classmates were like, Well,
yeah, absolutely. I can remember early on, like a high point, something that really sticks out. I think it was in 5th grade. So in 5th grade, we had to do some kind of skit. And usually the skits in grade school are to like teach the rest of the class something, and they give you a topic. I'm sure people can all relate to that. So what we were supposed to teach our group, I think it was about the early fur traders and the Native Americans. And so I had one of my best friends, his name was Severo Benavides. We were in a group with 2 other guys, and we basically wrote this script, like a play. And my sister used to write plays all the time, so she would sometimes include her siblings in the plays. So I had that kind of a background from that. So we were just able to sit there and write this. And it was all supposed to be funny. So we basically wrote this hilarious skit that was about the fur traders and the Indians, or Native Americans, fighting each other. Back then when you said Indians. And it was a big hit with the class. And that really stuck out to me. I think we even got in a little bit of trouble. So, I mean, I like that. You know, with the teacher, something maybe was a little inappropriate, something was controversial, and that's a good sign. I think that's always good. A little bit edgy.
Even in the 5th grade.
Yeah, even in the 5th grade, it was a little bit edgy. So that stuck out, that little skit that we did in 5th grade.
And then, so that moved you on to high school, and you did even more of that. And then shortly after, how did that go? What was high school like?
High school was great. For me, as far as the field that I got into, that's when I discovered hip hop. I was always into the records that were in my father's basement. Soul music, funk, rock music. You know, my dad had everything. Literally hundreds and hundreds of of albums because he had a background as a DJ and an engineer himself.
Oh, really?
And I think he had aspirations of being a songwriter or something like that. At least working as a producer in the music industry. And he was also a promoter, so I had that to draw upon, but I was never into rap. But then at some point, rap became beautiful to me. I remember specifically, there's an artist in hip hop named Nas.
Yes.
And his father's a jazz player. And Nas, when I heard his music, hip hop became not just something with a lot of curse words that Snoop Dogg does on the radio. Hip hop became this beautiful thing to me, and I thought immediately, this is poetry.
Wow.
And it was something that it touched my heart in a deep way in my mind. And I would sit and read the lyrics of Nas in the liner notes of his albums. And so then at some point, maybe like junior year in high school, I decided I just loved hip hop. And so I would write, not with any goal in mind, but just because I loved hip hop.
Wow, man. And so then you went to school, you majored in marketing, and then suddenly you decide that I'm going to pack up my bags and leave and come out here to pursue your career.
Yeah, it's crazy. What led to that was just this thing that you're doing just for fun, just because you love it, not with the goal of money or any type of success, just because you love to do it.
Right.
I was doing that to the exclusion of everything else. I was not studying. I was not going to class. I went to school, but I don't believe that my heart was really in it. It was just a thing that in our family, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
And it's not for everyone.
Right.
I would never tell people that it's not something to do, but I just know for me as an individual, while I was going to school, my attention kept going,
I understand.
somewhere else. And what it was this entertainment. So I started writing all day, and then I would start performing at school. So I would perform around the campus at UW-Madison. Black Student Union has open mics. I'm performing poetry. I'm doing hip hop, but with no beat, like it's just a poem. But really in my head, I know this is a rap song. And eventually, I just felt, okay, I feel really confident. I feel like I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this, So I had to tell my parents that. And after a little bit of trepidation, we'll say at first, they just understood that I really meant it, that it wasn't just a whim. It wasn't a whimsical thing. I really believed it. So we started making mixtapes, my friends and I, and we made 2 mixtapes, and we literally gave thousands of copies away. We didn't even sell them. We would just make them. And mixtapes and hip hop are really a tool that everyone started to use somewhere around like 2003. And you basically would take popular songs on the radio, take those radio songs, and then you'd rap over them and make like your own version of the same topic that they were talking about on the original song, but it has your own little twist to kind of show what you could do with that same song. So we would make these mixtapes and then literally make thousands of copies and hand them out.
Really?
And I think we really took over the city. I mean, like people were they weren't used to that in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And so it got a lot of attention, and then we felt really confident. So we moved out and said, let's take it another step further, see what we can do with it in a big city.
Oh, so it was a group of you. How many in the group?
Wow, I feel like it was probably 10 people.
Wow, 10
Yeah.
people, and you all just packed up and came out.
Only some of us came out.
Okay.
It's not for everyone, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not all their path. They don't feel the passion the same way you do, or maybe they're unable to kind of commit to it like that.
Yeah.
They have another vision for themselves.
Yeah.
And so some people stayed in Wisconsin, and some of us moved out to California. The groups that we had were some of my best friends. It all came together naturally. We were all just good friends who all happened to have common interests. So all of a sudden, you go to my house and there's people there. There's people making beats upstairs. I had a friend, Justin, who was maybe like 18, 19 years old.
It's like, wow.
He had never made music before. He grew up in the church and he could play piano. He taught himself. And he had access now because of another friend who lived at our house who had machines, drum machines. So Justin would come over and make a beat.
Yeah.
Just off the top of his head. He didn't sample someone else's song. He would sit there and make a beat. I'd go upstairs, I have to leave him alone for 4 hours. He's made like 4 beats.
Oh,
And so we started making all these mixtapes and putting it out, and everyone wasn't able to come along. So Justin isn't here with me now, but he's still my friend, and I'm guessing he's probably still has that same passion for music. And who knows, maybe we can all come together again, in the big spotlight.
Things happening.
Yeah.
Now you have several CDs of your own with your own music. I've seen your videos, and you've come up, I guess, with this marketing background. You've come up with some creative things to sell yourself, and then you talk about your poetry and things. Man, this is awesome. So talk about some of that. Talk about your albums.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, since the first 2 mixtapes that we put out, we moved to California, and our first goal was kind of from the old school demo pushing mind state. So we made a demo, and it had about 5 songs from it. And at that point, I started to move beyond just hip hop, and I was singing, you know, and I had original music that we kept, but we didn't put that out right away.
Yeah.
We had this demo that was a mixture of my hip hop and some of the new styles that we came up with. I don't even know what genre they are, but you know, it's just something that I made, and we were pushing that demo. We put that on iTunes, even as we were trying to get, you know, management or other people to take interest.
Yeah.
And then we just felt like something that was important was consistency, like that we were able to keep putting out product. So we put out an original album. My first original album was an EP called Goodbye Cruel World.
Yes.
And it's basically a concept album, all original music that me and my friend Tom made, and it was a story of a teenage Marine who is kind of an introverted person, kind of the outsider, a nerd, picked on person who joins the Marines. He runs away and joins the Marines because he can't figure out what to do with his life.
Yeah.
And when he goes over there, he comes back. And it's like a 2-part story. So we have the Goodbye Cool World EP, and then a second EP that's like the conclusion of the story. And when he comes back, he's changed. So it was like a very thought out concept, like it's a complete story. And the story is just told through the songs.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah, please.
Now, all of them, they can go to your music channel and find this stuff. And is there a way that they can actually download or get?
Absolutely. The Goodbye Cool World original music and also the mixtape music, all of that is easily available. A lot of the mixtape stuff is free, and we just still give that away to this day. And then the original music, we make you pay for it. But that's on iTunes. You can easily find 2 or 3 Jon Henry projects right now that you'll love on iTunes.
Oh, wonderful.
And then it's also available at my own website, which is JonHenry'sYoungWorld.com, because my record label is Young World. That's Young World. And you can find that on my website. And then, you know, artists usually have multiple pages. So I have the MySpace page, Facebook. I have a Bandcamp page, and that has my latest mixtape called Escape from the Friend Zone. So there's like 4 or 5 projects that people can get, and there's all variety of styles. You know, more pop-oriented stuff that we put on the mixtapes, and then the original material, like the Goodbye Cool World projects that are on iTunes and also on my website.
And that's awesome, because we're going to put everything right down here. You just right there under the tag, sort of right there. You'll be able to get all of that information. Now, he sings, he writes poetry, he raps. And tell me, which part do you like the best? Is it when you're on stage singing, or is it when you're by yourself actually writing? And you do, I mean, because you got to admit, I think because of the marketing background, you tend to do a lot of different things. I know that you do interviews yourself, the performing aspect, all of it.
It's like you said, we have to wear a lot of hats. My favorite feeling, I guess, is the creative process when I'm writing the song. When I'm writing it, I have to then edit it, and the editing is tedious and boring. It's just like, oh man, I have to sit for hours. But when I'm coming up with it, and I go in like my little booth, and I'm kind of in my head thinking up lyrics really quick, because I don't really want to sit and waste a lot of time on it. I just got to sing it real quick while I have the melody in my head. It's like, it's real spontaneous, and you go, this is coming from some other place. It's like 2 hours later, I don't even know like how it happened. I'm like, man, I got that whole song done, and I barely even remember it, you know? And it's just like that, there's something really magical about that process. But performing is a close second, because there's such a rush that you get, that when you get done, you almost feel like, I have to go to like Vegas right now and party, you know, because you're feeling so up. You're like, I can't just go sit on the couch now. Like, I can't just go sit on the couch after I'm performing, you know? You got some crowd full of people. I've had some really special opportunities where, you know, it's like the biggest crowds I ever saw, you know, bigger than things that I had in Wisconsin. And I'm like, I'm reaching some peak, you know, and it's like, it's such a rush, it's such a high, it's just a natural high. And then you get done and you go, I have to keep this going. You know, it's so energizing, you know?
Well, I want to ask you this. Now, a lot of times when people move out and they take that step of going to pursue their dream, and sometimes things happen faster, sometimes they happen slow. What would you tell somebody who's out to pursue their dream?
Well, I have a friend in the UK, and he's also a hip-hop artist. In this world we live in, you know, it's so cool that you can just have friends that are on the other side of the planet, and they become like good friends, frequent people who you collaborate with. Well, my friend, he sometimes gets frustrated, and he's been doing it 2-3 years, I'm not sure. And what I told him, this was just within the last week, I said, I've been making music for 8 years.
Awesome.
And I think that is perfectly normal. I mean, I think that's almost required, that you have to put years into this. No part of this almost no part of this should be easy. Some people are the 1 in a million lottery ticket, and they go from nothing to huge really quickly, or they knew someone. I didn't know anybody. I don't have any list of connections. If I become some large on your TV personality who you wonder how he got there. It absolutely wasn't because of a hookup or anything like that. It's because of years of work. When a bunch of other people left, a bunch of other people were like, man, I can't do it, or they quit. I was the one who kept going. So if I get somewhere, it'll be because of that. And if you get somewhere, it'll be because of that. That's what I would tell people, is that there's no way around it. I spend a lot of time looking for shortcuts, believe me. I'll take that shortcut if I can get it.
Have you ever had a day where I said, oh, what am I doing? Just go back home?
Yeah, I do have those. I'm not even embarrassed to admit it. I have those. I still have those where I go, I'm not really sure how this is supposed to go, but there's just no script. Ultimately, I never quit because I just can't. I literally just can't. I don't have a plan B. There isn't some other thing that I even want. It's like, I want this. I know it. It's a core thing. So it's very clear to me who I am and what I want. It's not always clear how to get there, but I don't really see myself stopping. I could do this and never be Kanye West, and I would still be fulfilled and happy. There may be other things I have to do to supplement my income, but I do this because I love it. There's, otherwise I would have stopped a long time ago. So, there's just no way around who you really are.
So you feel yourself when you're pursuing this?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is awesome, man. There's so much stuff. We didn't go about you feeling an outcast and all those different things. So I got to bring you back. You guys, this is Jon Henry. He is so amazing. And you just got to check out his stuff. We're going to have all of his information where you can go out and log on and find out all of his information. You can go to his music and everything. Jon Henry, I just got to say one thing. Thank you for kicking it with me.
All right. Thanks for letting me kick it with you.
Yes, sir.